in yet, but does have definitely one to watch. LDR. Horse has been off since November of 2024. Gets back to the racetrack today. Horse did have he is actually trying to beat LDR Street. He can run second. Only a 300. He gets the job done and gets last time out. Is an can be significant. A really nice race last time out, that October 2nd race. And now second race off the comeback. Required to win running second and third. On to race 3. $500. Horses on the morning line. Horse was in for 20 before that. Ended up little Jesse with the scratch of number 9. That's going to be my choice here in race number 3. I got the 8 pick second. That's Cherry Cola Bling. Was a winner last time out by Wagon. I originally it's now kind of a wild. Where are you going to go here? But this horse tonight. Shutout Jess will end up picking up a bunch of money. That's number 1 down on the inside. That's who Rick ends up with. Claim surprised to be pick 6. And the carryover $242. Race. Scratch the 4, Neat Freak, and scratch the 11, SM Tempt Me Boy. All right, well, let's go with number 5, Mr. Coyote 5-0. That's going to be my top choice here. 3 races for this 2-year-old. All of them have been pretty good. The debut, the horse was in for $10,000. Then put together back-to-back races where the horse was just a neck behind the winner in those races. Now, all those races were going short. Excuse me, that's what I like. But now this horse is taking a step up and running against maidens instead of the some good things. At some pretty decent odds. They're pretty decent, so that'd be all right to get a win there and turn $2 into a chicken sandwich. And then number 3, that's going to end up being my second choice. That's Max's Roundup. This before that, in those 2 races, the horse is 4th in both of them, but the most half a length at 300 yards. So I'm scratching into her, but maiden races didn't do a whole lot. And she's been long shots the last 2. Ran into a good field with Pontotoc Mountain and Bicycle Johnny last time. I'm hoping the class drop helps for any of these. Maxie's Roundup. You got to like his. Another race there with the scratches. You're going to end up seeing probably some interesting prices on horses. I would think, none of these are going to get crushed. everybody's odds might be a little depressed, but it should be a good betting race. I mean,
yeah, no doubt about it.
It should be the type of wide open race where everybody should be a fair.
See
price.
A lot of 3-to-1s.
I would think. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily think anyone's going to get pounded.
I think there's about 3 or 4 horses that could take the favorite spot in this
for
one.
sure. Race 5 out of tonight's 10-race card is the start of the Pick 5. Carry over $1,234 in the Pick 5. Scratch the 9, Cholito's Love. Also scratch both of the also eligibles, 11 and 12. This is for non-winners of 3, a $20,000 claiming tag.
All right, so here we go, 300-yarder here. Let me get number 8, Cartel's Favorite. So, last time out, this horse was in a trial race out here. Finished 8th of 9 in that one. Let's draw a line through that one, discount it. Look at the races before that. I mean, this horse was in the Speed Horse Derby back in July, missed by a neck in that one. Had back-to-back wins earlier this year at Remington Park. The first 2 starts of this horse's year came at Remington, won back-to-back. One of those was a 300-yard race. Only time this horse has ever been this distance was that win. Decent horse. I think Cartel's Favorite is going to be the one to beat here. Number 5, Get Some. That's going to be my second choice. A winner last time out did that in a $15,000 non-winners of 2 claiming race. Race before that was a third-place finish, missed by half a length in that one. The horse has been this distance a couple times, has a win, has that win out here, that most recent one. I think there's some things I like about Get Some. And then I took number 6, Huey's Wild Baby, as my third choice here. Ended up picking up the win last time by default, across the finish line, just a neck behind a horse that got disqualified. But Huey's Wild Baby picked up the win there. But I'll tell you what, you look back at how this horse did at Louisiana Downs, Sam Houston, and Retama this year, was right up there close in all those races. I think this was going to be up there close once again tonight. 8, 5, and 6 here in race 5.
Yeah, really, there's a bunch of contenders. There's 3 or 4 of them right up here that are going to be among the shorter prices that all like to compete and have all been at various class levels very competitive, both at the finish and earlier in the race. That's why I went with Huey's allowances, non-winners of 2 in the last 9 months, non-winners of a race other than last time, where he was not affected in the interference, but did, as you mentioned, back into the win because somebody else did something to some of the other runners and got disqualified. But overall, he's not necessarily the biggest horse on winning. He's 2 for 21, but he certainly is very competitive. I took him in a close call over at Cartel's Favorite, who really faced tough ones. 9-1-1 and a couple of dead heaters for second, and Chill to the Bone and Flying Jesse Jones, or James, I should say. Back to reality, you might say, for Cartel's Favorite. Also, don't ignore Grand Diamond D, the 10. Hasn't been out since Turf Paradise in March. Long comeback, but Diego Cervantes' barn has been hot. And this horse definitely, and he has a bullet work a month ago here to get ready for this. So he could factor for sure in that. Race number 6 out of 10 tonight. 2-year-old fillies. These are maidens. Not eligible to be claimed. They'll be going 330 yards. Scratch both the 11 and 12.
I'm on number 5. She's Judge T here. So this horse has had 5 races. 4 of those races were in futurity trials. And if you look, all 4 of those races, she was well behind the winner. The one time that she didn't run in a futurity trial was in a maiden race for fillies, just like this one, fillies tonight. Last time when she was at Retama 2 starts back, I mean, she did well. So let's go ahead and give her the nod to win this one. I got the number 8, Bell Bottom Blue, as my second choice. This horse is coming out of trials as well. 4 of them, just like my top choice, has another maiden race thrown in there in between. This one came at Remington Park a little bit further back. This is back in April. Didn't do much in that race, but, I do like the coming out of those trial races here to this maiden spot. And then I got number 10, Threat Level Midnight. This guy, or for this girl, I like her name. Let's see if she can't get up there for an on-the-board finish once again.
I just started watching some Office reruns, and so I do, and I like her name as well. as I was looking at the race, I really wanted to include her. Go a lot of different ways. I wound up going with the morning line favorite, Bell Bottom Blue. And a couple of weeks ago, there was a horse with, I think, a very similar name. I don't think it was this filly because she has not been entered and scratched this meet, as far as I can tell. But there was a horse with a very similar name, and it's bugging me because there was I believe, a song by Cream, Eric Clapton, Bell Bottom Blues, that we talked about here at the desk. And but it's bugging me. I'll have to search through programs.
It'll come to you in about 12 minutes when we're done with
this. I hope so,
because
it hasn't come to me yet. This filly, this 8, to me, she's kind of I'm not thrilled with the others, so I'm taking her. It's one of those types of picks.
I can see that here in this race.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I dislike these fillies. I'm just not, there's none of them that I can really wrap my arms around. So I took her because I think she has kind of the most palatable form just from those trials. But this is one, if you like somebody or you like a name or you like some aspect of their style, and take it because, this is kind of your guess is as good as mine type of race. On to the 7th. These are 2-year-olds, not fillies, though. These are just maiden 2-year-olds, 440 yards, so they'll get out to that classic distance, scratch the 2 also eligibles.
Yeah, I went with number 8, YM Flyer, no doubt about it. But if you look before that, this horse was in 3 maiden races, and in 2 of those 3 maiden races, you'll see that this horse was within a length of the winner. One of them at Sam Houston, one of them at Retama back at the end of July. I think if this guy can run against running those maiden races like that, who's to know? I think the horse could probably do it again tonight, have a decent run. I think if it runs one of those maiden races back, this is the winner. I took number 10, Too Broke to Quit, as my second choice here. Last 3 races, this horse has been right up there toward the front, missed by half a length, ahead before that. Ended up being disqualified in that race, placed lower down in the placings. But, still 3 races in a row, this horse has showed some speed, was right up there in it. Why not take a look at Too Broke to Quit here? And then I got number 5, Bicycle Johnny, as my third choice. Another one that was close up last time out. That came right here at Lone Star Park at this 440-yard distance in a maiden race. So pretty much bringing it all back together again. Only was beaten by half a length in that one, and that was only toward the end that the horse got caught. Yeah. We'll see if Bicycle Johnny doesn't have a little bit more stamina today, maybe be able to get out there in front and hold on. But I got the horse picked third, 8, 10, and 5 for race 7.
Only when they get out to 440 as 2-year-olds do I start to wonder about their ability to handle the distance, or maybe to look at it more positively, whether they'll like the distance or not, because it is a little bit longer than most of these 2-year-olds have been going, unless they went in the big All-American trials. I went with Bicycle Johnny partially because of that what I thought was a strong race, even though he had to settle for second on September 11th here, going 440. I thought it was a really good race visually. I thought his number was really good. An E-Speed number of 76 is the co-best last E-Speed figure for anybody in here. And, this is a guy that last time out was very speedy, and hopefully he can do that again for a high percentage barn. Too Broke to Quit, part of a dead heat for second last time, ran very well in that September 11th race. Also, a different race, same day, different race than the one Bicycle Johnny ran. So it's always kind of interesting to compare speed figures
on the same day.
Yeah,
right?
The E-Speed figure when they're racing just a couple of races apart like these two did. Interesting one there in Jess Drive on the inside, who looks really quick, but gets out 90 yards farther than he's ever been in a race so far tonight. And by the way, I mixed up my Clapton groups. Bell Bottom Blues was an oldie done by Derek and the Dominoes and Derek Clapton, not Cream, which was a different collection of artists in that roughly the same era. Race 8. Here we go. 110 yards, College Station Dash. Scratch the 4, Relegate PYCYG. Scratch the 12, Featured Prospect. And 110-yard race, albeit a kind of a lower claiming race, but starter optional claimer. But this is just an open allowance. But going 110, I mainly want the wheels. I'm not so worried about
at 110. I'm not so much worried about the past level of races. Right, I'm looking for horses that just show some speed.
Exactly.
Separatist Corona did it last time out, and if you look back at those PPs, this horse gets out of the gate well, shows speed early on, and at 110 yards, that's what you got to do, right? So give me Separatist Corona on top. I took 2 Lucky Cholitas as my second choice. It's another horse that has some speed. They can get out of the gate and flash some speed early on. If you take a look, this horse won back-to-back-to-back races from October, November, October, December, and May. That 3-stretch period for this horse. And then came back at Delta Downs at the beginning of August in a stakes race and, just barely missed by a nose in that one. But the horse has got some speed, so give me the horse second. And then I took the 5, Volcom's Joyce YG, as my third choice. Much like the other 2, this horse has been able to flash some speed early on in some races. Hadn't gone 110 yards before, but let's see what happens from the 5 hole for Volcom's Joyce YG. 7, 2, and 5 here in this quick little race.
Yeah, a large number of these have not gone 110 yet, but there's a lot of quick ones in here. Separatist Corona's race last time, it was fun to watch when you go back and watch the replay because he had the purest break, and it's such a short race, and he was immediately in front, and he just drove on down straight ahead to the wire and won it. It's such a condensed race, but it was a really nice performance. I'm with you on Lucky Cholitas. If her E-speed figures come over from Louisiana, she ran a 93, 100.
Yeah.
83 late last year, 86 on Halloween of last year. Those are seriously high numbers. And, I look at those numbers. I don't base every pick on them. There's some formula for determining those numbers, that there's some judgment involved. But if those numbers do that's why Rick has her as the favorite, is because of those E-speed numbers. But I'm going to try for one of our best barns this fall, Martin Rodriguez, to get another win with Separatist Corona. The high 5 is on the 9th race today. It's typically on our last race of the card, except when the last race is an Arabian race. Then it's on the next to last. The high 5 carryover up to $12,119. In the 9th race, it's for 2-year-olds, non-winners of a race other than, or non-winners of 2. Scratch the 12 Rocket Eagle. There's another scratch in there that I didn't mark down. Oh, Sin and Hot Pepper, number 3, is also scratched out of the 9th. That means Baby Has Red Queens gets in, and I loved her race last time. I'm picking her back tonight second because the horse she beat, Big Daddy's Secret, was a nice winner here on Saturday.
Well, I got a spot to fill down with that scratch of the 3, so I think Baby Has Red Queens might make it up in my top 3 as well. But the horse that I did take here is going to be number 7, True and Easy. 15-1 morning line for True and Easy. This horse has only had 2 races, but both of those races were wins. So I like that. Both of them, this horse won by a neck. She went 250 in her debut, was able to pick up the win. Last time out, went 300 against non-winners of 2 for the $10,000 claiming price. Picked up wins there. See if she can't do 3 in a row. But she had a decent improvement from start 1 to start 2. See if she gets better in the third start here. But True and EC, probably some decent odds onto this guy, so why not take a shot here? Number 4, El Rey Juanito. That's going to be my second choice. Back-to-back runner-up spots for El Rey Juanito. Last time was an allowance race, a trial before that. This horse won a trial back at Delta Downs in the first race of his career, so you got to keep an eye on El Rey Juanito. And then, let's just talk about those first 2 since I gotta make up a pick here with my third horse.
Yeah, True and Easy is really interesting to me because I love horses that get led over twice in a row and win both times, even if they're, this was a maiden claimer, 10,000 that he won his first race. He drew the rail both times, and he came out at Retama again in a non-2 for 10,000 claiming, won that one both times by a neck. I like symmetrical past performances like that. In this case, he's definitely going up a little bit, but I like his chances. I also like the chances Baby Has Red Queens because she came out at 9-1 in late September and, really ran well, and one has become a productive race because the runner-up, Big Daddy's Secret, as I mentioned, just won the other day here. So that flatters that performance. But I'm with El Rey Juanito on top. I like the angle of when you're second by a long way back to the third horse. In this sport, a long way can be a length and a quarter like this one is, not like thoroughbreds. And El Rey Juanito ran a nice second last time against Texas-bred 2-year-olds. And this time we'll face Open Company, but 3 of his 4 races have been pretty good, dating back to April. So I'm gonna go with the chalk on that one. And in the 10th and final, back to the Arabian ranks, $10,000 maiden claimers, 3-year-olds and up, going 5.5 furlongs. There are no scratches out of this one.
I got the horse from the outside, Fergus MHF. A third-place finisher last time out that came here on our track. I mean, this horse has already run out here at this meet 3 different times. 2 of those races were third-place finishes, but you know what? You don't have to go against R.S. Fortiza, who we're both picking in the first race tonight. If you look, Rich Sand in that race 3 back that this horse ran against was a next-out winner. I mean, a lot of italicized names there. We'll see if Fergus MHF can get the job done from the outside. Got the 4 Easter Dude AA as my second choice here. Had 3 races. 2 of them weren't the best, but had a second-place race thrown in the middle of those. That was back on the 17th of July at Rotama Park. And then I got the number 2 horse, WMA Nash Rambler, as my third pick here.
I wonder if Easter Dude, when he ran second, beaten 31 3/4 lengths, I wonder if he thought he actually won the race because that winner that day was so far in front of him, probably about a 16th of a mile, and he probably went back to the barn thinking, hey, this racing business is pretty good.
But wait a second, I didn't get my picture taken.
But
what's the deal?
But nonetheless, that, his other races have not necessarily been spectacular, but I went with him. To me, it was not the easiest of calls in here, but I'm going to lean toward him on the angle of, maybe he's been marginally improving as he's gone along. The first-time starters are intriguing to me from the Nicole Ruggieri barn. Actually, we've got a son of Patty's Day, Patty's Kid, number 1 for Ruggieri, but it worries me that every workout he's ever had was the slowest of that particular morning. So I'm going with Nashwan 1 for Nicole out of the 7-hole, whose workouts are a little bit better. But figure, throw a firster in because the rest of these that have run, other than the top 2, haven't done a whole lot. So a firster might be able to make an impact. I'm just glad we got to see Patty's Day.
And then now get to see some of his progeny.
Yeah, because he was such a great Arabian. Tomorrow, 50. We'll have a reversion to 10-plus years ago. Right before I started, you used to run Sunday afternoon quarter horse races.
We did.
You don't normally run quarter horses during the day unless you're Ruidoso or Will Rogers, which don't have lights. But most of the lighted tracks, Remington here, Los Al, tend to run at night. Of course, some of your Intermountain tracks, Wyoming and the Idahos and whatnot, they probably run during the day. But if you do have some time tomorrow, great racing on those trials. I mean, there's some really nice horses. And so we'll be here early. And hopefully we can get all that done before the weather so the track will be nice and consistent throughout the course.
Right, and then we'll turn back around and
so that'll be a really good night of racing.
Be a nice weekend to be out here.
We'll be but it's on the first floor. Couple of new offerings if you're looking for a little dinner tonight. If you're looking in simulcast land, thanks a lot for doing that. We're 28 minutes to post for race 1. Track is fast. Very nice conditions for the races tonight, and good luck. In the event of an emergency, Lone Star Park is dedicated to ensuring the safety of our patrons. This video